Hey, Fitz, how's it going?
I'm good, and you?
Good, good. Thank you again for taking the time to chat, man. Appreciate it. You guys have been out on the road for quite a couple, I guess, for just a couple of weeks now. I've seen through just some TikToks with the shows out in Utah and whatnot, which have looked like an absolute blast, by the way. Tell me, just what has it been, just this part of the tour that stands out the most among the shows that you've done for over a decade or so, with it just being, so much of a party based on some of the videos that I've seen?
Yeah, I mean, we love to bring the joy. We like to bring a hot, sweaty dance party. So, we've been doing it long enough. We got a lot of fans. They know that's what's expected of them. And we love to introduce new people. It's like, hey, come have a good time with us. You can't really dance. Doesn't matter. We're all just here to have a good time. No judgment. And, if we can bring some joy to people's lives for a few hours, it's a pretty powerful moment to look down and smiling ear to ear and having a great time. And I feel like the world really needs that right now. So
And truly, your music brings so much joy. There's so much positivity to it, and you've got so many great hits from over the years. But this brand new album stands out so well with the Man on the Moon album. You mentioned before giving yourself a lot of creative freedom in the process of putting together this album. What has that been like, as opposed to some of the early years of the band's projects, of giving yourself a little bit more freedom of putting this one in particular together?
yeah, I mean, I think when you're a band like ours that like starts to have some big radio hits and stuff, there's a lot of opinions and pressure from the label, all these people, where's your next radio hit? All that kind of stuff. But I feel like the whole world and what becomes a hit these days has so changed because of TikTok and social media and all this stuff that nobody knows anymore. So when we were going into making this record, I was like, screw it. Nobody knows the rules anymore. So I'm just going to do exactly what I want to do. I'm maybe not going to go for the pop jugular per se, but I just really was focused on creating just some moods and some vibes that I wanted to live in. And that was sort of the impetus for the whole Man on the Moon record.
Yeah, and there's some trips around different other styles, like, pop and Motown, and just other different kinds of blends of different styles to just kind of, mash together again a party and a celebration, I think, all together, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we've always sort of tried to take all of our, there's six of us in the band, a lot of different tastes and influences. And it's like, how can we, and I feel like even as a listener, as an individual, I love hip hop, I love R&B, I love Motown, I love alternative rock, I love pop music, I love the new wave era. It's like, how can you take all those and create some weird hybrid fusion? And so every album, that's sort of our goal. What's the new sort of weird connection and interplay that we can do between all these different styles and influences we have?
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned, having the six members of the band there, because, some of the newer music involves kind of blending a lot of your members together, blending some of the voices to create what you've kind of mentioned being a super voice, which I love the terminology there, by the way. Walk me through that inspiration, and how does that resonate not only within the album itself, but also when you're pulling off a live show? Obviously, when you're blending those, voices together, you can just typically do that, mic to mic. But how do you do that whenever you're giving it that good old Fitz in the Tantrum kind of, style there on stage during a typical live performance?
Yeah, well, I think when you get two singers together, it's not a guarantee that the timbre, the tone of their voice, of your voices, is going to match. And that was the crazy thing, was from the first rehearsal that we had, Noel's and I's voice just always complemented each other and blended. And, we've made six albums now, so we've tried everything from harmonizing to singing above each other to lower. But there was always this magical thing when we sang in unison. It really was this sort of power vocal that you couldn't even achieve as one single entity. And when you really fuse the two of our voices together, it just cuts. And I think, when we're playing live, that moment comes together as well. And it just becomes more like just the message, the vocals, the lyrics are just coming at you and hitting you in the face, and you can't duck or weave. It's coming for you.
I love it. It's coming for you no matter what. And, the live show has always been kind of your go-to. You like you said, mentioned at the very beginning that it's, it's a party and you love to have everybody celebrate and get up and dance, whether they can dance or not. What's been your most unforgettable crowd moment from some of the past few tours that you guys have been on?
I mean, just so many. From the first time we ever, in our early days of the band, we were lucky enough to be booked on Lollapalooza, and they put us on the main stage, even though we were this band with one little record that had one little AAA radio hit in Money Grabber. And, they put us at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, man, it's cool. It's the main stage, but not the best time slot. It's early. And we walked out and there was 20,000 people. And we did this whole section where we like got everyone to get low and then they jump up, pogo up and down to the like climax of the song. We've been doing that in lots of little clubs for months and months and months. And then we got to Lollapalooza and I watched 20,000 people pogo with me and my mind almost broke in that moment.
I was gonna say that is enough to just have you just stop singing because you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands or my voice at that point. That's incredible.
Exactly. I was just shocked. Just had to focus on. I had to still keep singing, but I was just so enthralled by this insane. You can't. Your brain can't wrap. After the first couple hundred people, it just sort of you can't even see the end, and then it's like 20,000. I didn't even know what that looked like.
Exactly. Yeah. 20,000. After a while, it just like, it becomes kind of just an adrenaline rush instead of a group of people at that point. Yeah. And
Exactly.
yeah. And for those longtime fans of yours who have grown up alongside your music over the last several years, what do you hope they feel whenever they hear Man on the Moon live for the very first time on this tour?
Oh, man, I hope that they feel the joy that it brings us to play it. I always try and balance. People tend to think of us as just always like the band bringing happiness and joy, but I'm always trying to weave in my struggles. Everybody in the band, we're trying to, we're human beings. We have our ups and downs. So it's like, how can we like relate and share something truthful about ourselves that people can identify with? And what's the antidote to that? What's the positive message? What's the thing that gets you through anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, all these things that people may or may not realize are part of the messages. And then what is we have a song called I Just Want to Shine. And that's all about my personal struggles with my own darkness or my own moments of depression and this sort of anthem to pull you out. And I feel like we tried to do that again with this album. And just great to see people showing up, already singing every word to the new album. And then I can see people that haven't heard it yet, and I can just see that they're feeling it. And I know that they're going to leave there and they're going to go download the record or go stream it afterwards. And I've seen that moment happen over and over. And you work so long on an album, usually over a year from start to finish. As an artist, you just want people to hear your music and get into it. So that's my biggest gift and moment from playing this new album out.
Love it. Incredible. Fitz, leaving a positive impact wherever you're going along on the road. And can't wait to see the positive impact you leave here in Charlestown, West Virginia, Saturday, February 20th. Hollywood Casino, Fitz and the Tantrums. Fitz, thank you again for hopping on and chatting with me. An absolute honor. And congratulations on everything you guys have been doing over the past several years. And, I've followed your musical journey over the years, and it's truly been amazing. Keep up the incredible work, and looking forward to the show coming up on February 21st.
Oh, I can't wait. I'll see you guys soon, West Virginia. Thanks for a great interview, brother.
Absolutely. Take care, man. Have a good one.